name's Christopher Mendoza here at STM Canna. We're going to be speaking a little bit about loading cones today with the RocketBox. Over here we have the loading box, which is able to fit the bottom tray, in which the bottom tray fits in over these 4 pegs as such. From here, we're now able to load our cones into the bottom tray. Now, when we're loading cones into the bottom tray, there's a few things we need to watch out for. One is cone quality. As I'm taking these out, always making sure that these are in optimal quality, making sure they aren't bent on the corners, as well as the tip over here. As I'm going to be putting these down, I'm going to be going over a few different techniques as to how to distribute them properly into the bottom tray here. The first one is just single-handedly and kind of feathering them in as such, watching each and every single pre-roll, making sure that the optimal quality that you need. As I drop them into here, making sure I'm kind of looking at the next one and watching to see if there's any anomalies happening with the papers. Anomalies is what I mean by that is basically if there's anything sticking out of the box over here, or if there's any crunches at the bottom, or any changes in the papers. Now, as you can see already, I already have 2 changes in the papers from here, and we'll get a little bit of a close-up of that later. If you're not seeing basically a thin black line or about 1 millimeter of the black cone here from the bottom tray, we're going to be looking at paper that's probably a bit too tall or a bit too short. Now, the bit too short isn't as much a concern as something that's a bit too tall. When you have something a bit too tall, it's going to crunch in on itself, and the paper is not going to load in properly, nor is it going to drop properly into the bottom tray. This causes an issue. So the best recommendation I can give you of anything is ditch the paper. Just be done with it. If you can just get rid of that one and move on with the batch, it's going to make your life a heck of a lot easier. Now, the reason for this being is that every single one of these papers here, these are king size cones, are handmade. Every company that's out there hand makes each and every single one of these, and when they do that, they have a big change in the size and structure of each and every single one of these. Now, there is a tolerance to each and every single one of these too, and they typically will hit right on the dot. However, things can change, and when they do, be sure to get rid of those papers so your operation doesn't change on you. As I'm doing this, there's a second technique I'll show you here, which is the feather technique. In case something is dropping down too far into the bottom tray, you can lightly put the cone in to where it doesn't have so much of an aggressive thump on there. Meaning as such, I'm just grabbing the top piece over here and walking it basically with my second hand into the bottom tray. Making sure, again, my papers are excellent and perfect. This has a little bit of a wrinkle in it, too much of an anomaly for me, I'm just gonna ditch it. Past there, I'm just gonna keep moving on, making sure that everything is going according to plan in my mind as the operator. Now again, you can see that these are sitting a little bit higher. That's the intention basically of what I'm trying to do here. These are gonna be sitting a little too high for my liking though, so the technique as it goes is gonna be just dropping those things in there. One last technique I'm gonna show you guys here to finish things off is the double technique. Again, the same theory applies as to watching both of these, making sure that they're both excellent quality papers as I'm dropping them in. And as such, basically just keeping my eyes on the right one or left one, depending on your preference, and walking them both and mirroring that image in my head. As I'm doing that, just dropping these in makes life a heck of a lot simpler and a heck of a lot faster of an operation there. When I'm going through here again, I'm looking down the line of sight here from the bottom tray, making sure there's no papers coming up. I do see a paper over here coming up a little bit. Do not be afraid to ditch that one and replace it with a new paper. That makes your operation easier and your time less consumed. Thank you guys very much and take care.